Welcome to Easy English Talks podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the English Podcast. I am Tom, your host, and I'm thrilled to be guiding you on another English fluency journey. For those new to the channel, we dedicate ourselves to daily English lessons designed to build your confidence and skills step by step. We focus on practical, real-world English, making your learning relevant and applicable to your daily life. Today's masterclass is all about taking your B1 and B2 English to the next level. We'll be sharpening not only your listening comprehension, but also your speaking and critical thinking abilities. Before we start the lesson, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps this podcast reach more learners around the world. And tell me in the comments, are you ready to learn English today? The teaching method, practical and interactive exercises. We'll dive into real-life scenarios and conversations, equipping you with the vocabulary and sentence structures to navigate them effortlessly. Think of this as your personal fluency booster shot. Throughout this session, we'll be tackling practical conversations, the kind you'd encounter in everyday situations. We'll focus on expanding on simple answers to create more natural-sounding, detailed responses. We'll also explore useful vocabulary and natural sentence patterns you can immediately integrate into your speech. We'll do this through interactive exercises, repetition, shadowing, and ample opportunities for you to internalize these phrases until they become second nature. Real-world situations for English use. Whether you're describing your day, making weekend plans, asking for directions in a new city, or even debating your favorite movie, this masterclass will equip you with the confidence to express yourself clearly and effectively. Before we get started, remember to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss out on any future lessons that will accelerate your English learning progress. Take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin our fluency building adventure. The core concept, expanding your answers. Now, let's focus on the core concept, expanding your answers. At the intermediate level, the challenge isn't just knowing individual words. It's connecting them fluidly into natural-sounding sentences. You already possess a foundation. You can probably introduce yourself, order food, or ask for directions. But the goal now is to go beyond simple phrases and express yourself with nuance and detail. Practice 1. Describing your morning. Let's start with a common scenario. Imagine you're chatting with a friend, and they ask, "How's your morning been?" A beginner might respond with a simple, good, or fine. However, intermediate speakers can elaborate to create richer conversations. Instead of a curt, "Good try," "It's been fantastic. I woke up early, enjoyed a leisurely cup of coffee while reading a chapter of my book, and now I'm feeling energized and ready to tackle the day." Notice the difference. We've added detail, painting a more vivid picture of your morning. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Now let's contrast that with a less than perfect morning. "It's been a bit hectic, actually. My alarm didn't go off, so I had to rush to get ready, and I spilled coffee all over my shirt. Thankfully, I managed to catch the bus. But I'm still a little frazzled." Notice how this response conveys more emotion and details without resorting to complex grammar. Let's practice this too. Repeat after me. Practice 2. Talking about yesterday, great job. See how easy it is to add depth to simple answers. Let's move on to another example. If someone asks, "What did you do yesterday?" a simple "I studied" is insufficient. A more fluent response would be, "Yesterday was quite productive. I spent a couple of hours studying English, focusing on improving my pronunciation. Afterward, I went for a relaxing walk in the park, taking in the fresh air and sunshine. In the evening, I cooked a delicious pasta dinner for my family, and we had a lovely time together. Notice the descriptive language and the flow of the response. Let's practice this longer response, ... Now it's your turn. Describe your yesterday using this expanded approach. Don't worry about perfection. Just focus on building those longer, more detailed sentences. Practice 3. Ordering at a cafe. Excellent work. Finally, let's consider a cafe scenario. The waiter asks, "What would you like to drink?" Instead of a simple coffee, please try, "I'd love a latte, please, with a splash of almond milk and a little cinnamon on top." Or, "I'll have an iced tea, please, unsweetened." Express your preferences clearly and politely. Let's role play this. I'll be the waiter. What would you like to order? Remember to use descriptive language and add those little details to make your response sound more natural and fluent. The power of role-playing, fantastic. You're doing great. Keep practicing, and remember, fluency isn't about perfection. It's about confident and clear communication. Until next time, okay, let's continue practicing. We left off with role-play. Remember, these aren't just games. They're powerful tools for immersing yourself in real-life conversational scenarios. By engaging in these simulated interactions, your brain begins to internalize the natural flow and patterns of English. Think of it like muscle memory, but for your language skills. Let's try another one. Imagine you're at a cafe. I'll be the barista. What can I get for you? Part 2. Expressing opinions. Now, let's shift our focus to expressing opinions. A crucial skill at the B1 and B2 levels. It's not enough to simply answer yes or no or give one-word responses like good. You need to articulate your thoughts fully. For instance, if someone asks, "What do you think about daily English practice?" a simple, "It's good," lacks depth and fluency. Instead, try something like, "I find daily English practice incredibly beneficial. It helps me retain vocabulary, improves my fluency, and boosts my confidence when speaking." See the difference? We've added detail and reasoning. Let's practice this. I'll ask a question, and you respond with a detailed opinion. What are your thoughts on using videos for English learning? A strong response might be, "I believe learning English through videos is highly effective because it allows me to listen to native speakers. Pronunciation, practice my listening comprehension, and repeat phrases at my own pace." Furthermore, the visual element often enhances understanding. Excellent. Now let's broaden this to your personal experiences. Think of something you enjoy daily: reading, cooking, jogging, anything. Now construct a well-developed opinion sentence about it. For example, instead of "I like reading," try "I thoroughly enjoy reading historical fiction in the evenings because it transports me to different eras and allows me to unwind after a long day." Give it a try. Remember to articulate your thoughts fully and clearly, making plans and using future tenses. Moving on to another common everyday scenario. Making plans, instead of a simple nothing which sounds very uninspired, let's craft more interesting replies. Imagine a friend asks, "What are you up to this weekend?" You could respond, "I don't have anything concrete planned yet, but I'm hoping to catch up with Sarah for brunch on Saturday and maybe go for a hike in the park on Sunday, weather permitting." See how much richer that response is? Let's practice that. Repeat after me, ... Now, let's try a different scenario. This weekend, I'm planning a trip to the beach with my family, and I also need to finish writing that report, so I'll be pretty busy. Practice saying both variations. Now, create your own weekend plan, incorporating phrases like, I'm planning to, I might, or I'd like to. Fluency drill, expanding short prompts. Finally, let's work on fluency. I'll give you short prompts and you expand them into full sentences, adding details. Prompt 1, breakfast. Example response. For breakfast this morning, I had a delicious smoothie made with berries, banana, and almond milk. It's a quick and healthy way to start my day. Prompt 2, weather. Example response. The weather is surprisingly chilly today, despite the forecast. I'm thinking I'll wear a sweater and long pants when I head out later. Prompt 3, weekend plans. Example response. My weekend plans are quite exciting. On Saturday, I'm planning to go to the farmer's market and buy fresh produce. Later, I'd like to meet my friend at a new coffee shop downtown. On Sunday, I'm hoping to finish the book I started last week. This exercise helps you connect ideas, build more elaborate sentences, and improve your conversational fluency. Introducing yourself in detail. Now, let's move on to conversations. When meeting new people at the B1 and B2 level, introductions go beyond a simple, "Hello, my name is." Let's add some details. If someone asks, "Where are you from?" avoid just saying Brazil. Instead, try, "I'm from Brazil, specifically from Rio de Janeiro, a vibrant coastal city known for its beaches and carnival. I've been living here all my life." Or, "I'm originally from Brazil, but I've been living in New York City for the past 3 years." See how much more engaging those responses are. Let's practice these. Finally, when asked, "What do you do?" avoid simplistic answers. Instead of "I'm a student," try, "I'm a student at the University of California, Berkeley, majoring in environmental science. I'm particularly interested in sustainable agriculture." Or instead of "I work," try, "I work as a software engineer at a tech startup developing mobile applications." It's a challenging but rewarding career. Practice these responses. The key is to add those little details that paint a more complete picture of who you are and what you do. This makes your English sound more natural and confident. Remember, consistent practice is key. Crafting your personal introduction. Okay, now it's your turn to practice. We've learned some great techniques for introductions, and now we'll put them into action. Think about how you'd introduce yourself in a professional or social setting. Remember, a good introduction is more than just stating your name, origin, and profession. It's about creating a connection and leaving a positive impression. Let's break it down. First, your name. State it clearly and confidently. For example, instead of a mumbled, "Hi, I am John," try a more assertive, "Hello, my name is John Smith." Notice the difference. The second version conveys more self-assurance. Next, your origin. Don't just say, "I'm from California." Add a little flavor. You could say, "I'm from sunny Southern California, near the beach." Or, "I'm originally from a small town in rural Iowa, but I have lived in New York City for the past 5 years." These additions paint a picture and spark conversation. Now, what do you do? Instead of simply stating your job title, consider adding context. For example, instead of "I'm a teacher," you could say, "I'm a high school English teacher, passionate about helping students discover the joy of reading." This shows enthusiasm and provides a clearer understanding of your role. Finally, add a personal touch. What are your hobbies? What are you passionate about? Maybe you enjoy hiking in the mountains, playing the guitar, or volunteering at an animal shelter. Sharing a detail about your personal life makes you more relatable and memorable. Or, if you're still studying, mention where you attend school and your major. For instance, I am currently a junior at UCLA, majoring in computer science, and I am particularly interested in artificial intelligence. Now, let's practice. I want you to craft your own introduction, incorporating all these elements. Say your name, where you're from with a detail, your profession or studies with context, and a personal interest. Then let's practice saying it aloud. We'll work on your pronunciation and delivery, ensuring it flows naturally and confidently. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but progress. Each time you practice, you'll become more comfortable and fluent. This is how we build confidence for real-life situations, making those intermediate-level introductions feel natural and effortless. Talking about hobbies and free time. Okay, let's dive into conversations about hobbies and free time. This is a cornerstone of everyday English interaction. If someone asks, "What do you enjoy doing in your spare time?" a basic response might be, "I like reading." However, to demonstrate intermediate fluency, you need to expand on that. For example, you could say, "I enjoy losing myself in English novels, particularly mystery thrillers. I find them incredibly engaging, and they're a fantastic way to build my vocabulary. It's like a fun puzzle where I learn new words within a compelling narrative." Let's practice that. Repeat after me, ... Excellent. Now try saying it again, focusing on clear pronunciation and natural intonation. Here's another example. In my free time, I'm passionate about experimenting with new recipes. I often invite my family over for a taste test. It's a great way to share my culinary creations and spend quality time together. Let's say it together. Remember to add expression to your voice. It makes a huge difference. Now, one more time, focusing on fluency and natural rhythm. Wonderful. Now, consider one of your own hobbies. Think about it for a moment. What makes it special? What are the specific details? Use descriptive words like especially, because often or frequently to add depth and richness to your description. Speak it out loud. Fantastic. That's great fluency practice. Role play, discussing hobbies. Let's make this more interactive with a role play. Imagine I'm your friend Sarah. I ask, "What do you enjoy doing in your free time?" Besides studying English, of course. Answer me with a complete sentence, providing detail and vivid descriptions. Excellent. Let's try again, this time focusing on a different hobby. Remember to use descriptive language. Wonderful. You're doing great. Discussing past experiences and travel. Now, let's move on to discussing past experiences. At the B1 and B2 levels, you should feel confident using the past tense to vividly describe your memories. For instance, if someone asks, "Have you ever traveled internationally?" you could respond, "Yes, I have. Last summer, I went to Turkey with my family. We explored Istanbul, and it was absolutely breathtaking. The vibrant culture, the delicious food, the historical sights. It was an unforgettable experience. The bustling Grand Bazaar was particularly exciting. A whirlwind of sights, sounds, and smells. Let's practice. Repeat after me, ... Excellent. Now, again, this time focusing on your own natural pacing. If your answer is no, you can still craft a fluent response. For example, you could say, "No, I haven't traveled internationally yet, but I'm really hoping to visit Japan someday. I'm fascinated by its rich history, its unique culture, and of course, the amazing food." Let's practice this response. Remember to convey your enthusiasm one more time, adding emphasis to the words that express your desire to visit. Now, it's your turn. Think of a past experience, perhaps a memorable trip, a special celebration, or a fun outing with friends. Describe it using one or two complete sentences, including details about where, when, and why it was significant. Talking about future plans, great job. Now, let's shift our focus to conversations about the future. At the intermediate level, you should be able to articulate your plans and aspirations. For example, you could say, "Next year, I'm planning to take the TOEFL exam because I want to study abroad in Australia. I've always dreamed of experiencing life down under and immersing myself in Australian culture." Or you could say, "Tomorrow, I'm going to meet my friend Emily for lunch at that new Italian restaurant, and afterward, I'll go grocery shopping at Trader Joe's." Repeat after me, ... Let's practice some fluency drills. I'll give you a word, and you'll construct a future tense sentence using it. Ready? Word 1, vacation. Word 2, learn. Word 3, volunteer. Excellent. You're successfully using future tense expressions like "I'm planning to," "I'm going to," and "I'll," which are essential for demonstrating intermediate fluency, making small talk, the weather. Finally, let's touch upon small talk about the weather. A beginner might say, "It's hot," but an intermediate speaker would add more detail and descriptive language, saying something like, "It's scorching hot today. It's much hotter than yesterday, and I think this heat wave is going to last all week. I might even need to buy an ice cream maker." Let's practice. Repeat after me, again focusing on a natural conversational tone. Let's try a different scenario. "It's quite chilly this morning, and it looks like it might rain later, so I brought my umbrella just in case." Say it with me again, paying attention to your pronunciation. Now, it's your turn. Look out your window. What's the weather like today? Describe it using rich detail and comparisons. Excellent. Using precise details and comparisons elevates your English from basic to fluent. Combining tenses and adding rich details, let's move on to combining the topics we've covered. Okay, class. Let's continue practicing our English conversation skills. We've been working on tenses, and now we build upon that foundation by focusing on fluency and detail. Remember, at the B1 and B2 levels, it's not just what you say, but how you say it that matters. First, a quick review of tense usage. Let's try these questions. 1. What are your plans for tomorrow? Don't just say, "Go to the store." Tell me why you're going, who you're going with, what you plan to buy. Paint a picture with your words. For example, instead of saying, "I'm going to the park," you might say, "Tomorrow, I'm planning a picnic in the park with Sarah and her kids. We're going to fly kites, play frisbee, and I'm hoping to finally finish reading that book I've been meaning to get through." See how much richer the description is. 2. What did you do last weekend? This time, use the past tense. Again, add details. Instead of "I went to a movie," try "last weekend, I finally saw that new superhero movie everyone's been talking about. It was action-packed with some surprisingly funny moments. Afterwards, we grabbed pizza at that new place downtown. The pepperoni was amazing." 3. What do you enjoy doing in your free time? Tell me about your hobby and why you love it. Instead of just "I like to read," explain. "In my free time, I love to lose myself in fantasy novels. I find it incredibly relaxing to escape into another world. And I'm always fascinated by the intricate storytelling and world building. The explanation makes it so much more engaging." Talking about family and relationships. Now, let's move on to a crucial skill at the intermediate level. Talking about family and relationships. This comes up constantly in casual conversation. At B1 and B2, you should be comfortable providing details, sharing anecdotes, and explaining family dynamics effortlessly. Let's say someone asks, "Do you have any siblings?" A basic answer is, "Yes, I have a brother." But a more detailed response could be yes. I have an older brother named Alex. He's a software engineer working in Silicon Valley. And surprisingly, he's a talented musician in his free time. He plays the guitar in a band, and they're even recording an album now. See the difference? We've added detail, personality, and context. Let's practice a few examples. Example 1. I have a younger sister, Chloe. She's a college student studying marine biology, and she's passionate about ocean conservation. She spends her summers volunteering with sea turtle rescue programs. Example 2. I have 2 older cousins, Maria and David. Maria is a doctor and lives in London, while David's a chef who owns his own restaurant in New Orleans. They are quite opposite in their professions, but they're still very close. Your turn? Describe a family member with specific details. What do they do? What are their hobbies? Where do they live? Let's hear it. Now let's role play. Imagine I'm a new acquaintance asking about your family. Answer with a few sentences, including names, occupations, and hobbies. Let's make this conversation as realistic as possible, describing daily routines. Next, let's discuss daily routines. At B1 and B2, you should be able to describe not only what you do, but also how you feel about it, and maybe even compare routines or offer reasons. For example, instead of I get up and go to work, you could say, on weekdays, I usually wake up around 6:30 a.m. I'm not a morning person, so I rely on a strong cup of coffee to get going. After a quick breakfast, I head to the office. Although my commute can be stressful sometimes, particularly during rush hour, the feeling of accomplishment I get at the end of the day makes it worthwhile. Let's practice example 1. Every morning I have a quick workout. Even though it's early, it boosts my energy for the whole day and helps me feel more focused at work. Example 2. In the evenings, I usually unwind by reading a book or watching a movie. It's the perfect way to de-stress and recharge before bed. It's your turn. Describe one part of your daily routine with detail and emotion, incorporating names and role-playing a full conversation. Finally, let's practice incorporating names into our conversations. Let's pretend you're talking to a friend, Emily. She asks, "What's a typical day like for you?" You could respond, "Well, Emily, a typical day starts with me getting ready for my class. Then I head to the campus for my morning lectures. Afternoons are reserved for group projects and research. In the evenings, I often grab dinner with friends before heading back to my apartment to study. It's a pretty busy schedule, but it's rewarding." Now, let's practice some more. We'll work on describing your city or town. Try describing a place that you love. Remember, the key is to add details, use vivid language, and make your descriptions come alive. The more detail you provide, the more engaging and natural your conversation will sound. Describing your hometown in detail. Let's work on making our conversations flow more naturally, enriching our interactions with others. Okay, let's enhance this lesson on conversational English. We've talked about knowing your community. You mentioned liking the mountains near your town and how people know each other well. That's great. Now, let's delve a little deeper. Think about your city or town, not just in a sentence or two, but try to paint a picture with words. What are the unique characteristics? What sights, sounds, and smells define it? For example, I could say, my hometown is nestled in a valley, surrounded by rolling hills dotted with vineyards. The air is often filled with a scent of ripening grapes, especially in autumn, and the weekends are alive with the sounds of farmers' markets and families enjoying picnics. Now it's your turn. Give me a more detailed description of your place. Let's make this interactive with a role play. Imagine you're meeting Sarah, a new acquaintance at a coffee shop, and she asks, "Where are you from?" Instead of a simple answer, let's craft a response that gives her a taste of what your hometown is like. Remember to include details that showcase your personality and connection to your community. Talking about food and eating habits? Excellent. Now, let's move on to a universally loved topic, food. At the B1 and B2 levels, you should be able to describe your favorite foods with flair, explaining their preparation and sharing your eating habits. For instance, instead of just saying, "I like pizza," try something like, "My absolute favorite food is a Neapolitan pizza with its thin, crispy crust, perfectly balanced tomato sauce, fresh mozzarella, and a sprinkle of basil. I love making it at home with my family on Friday nights. It's a tradition for us." Notice how this adds detail, making the description more vivid and engaging. Let's practice. Repeat after me. ... Great. Now, let's try another example. I'm a huge fan of pad thai. I love the combination of sweet, sour, and savory flavors, the perfectly cooked rice noodles, and the crunchy peanuts. I usually order it from a Thai restaurant downtown on Tuesday nights. Their peanut sauce is amazing. Repeat this sentence. Now it's your turn. Describe your favorite dish with similar detail. Think about the ingredients, the preparation, and when you typically enjoy it. Wonderful. Now, let's role play. Imagine you're having lunch with Mark, a coworker, and he asks, "What's your favorite food?" Use what you've practiced or create your own detailed response. Excellent. Let's do it again. What's your favorite food? Perfect. This level of detail transforms simple answers into engaging conversations, connecting food with culture and family. Let's now connect food with culture and habits. Instead of simply saying, "I eat dinner with my family," let's add richness. In my family, we have a tradition of eating dinner together every Sunday evening. We usually make it a big multi-course meal with everyone contributing a dish, and it's a time for us to reconnect and share our week's experiences. Last Sunday, my sister made her famous lasagna, and my brother brought a delicious apple pie for dessert. Repeat after me. Try another example. On weekends, I like exploring different ethnic restaurants. Last Saturday, my friend and I ventured to a new Ethiopian restaurant, and the food was incredibly flavorful and unlike anything we'd ever tried before. Practice saying that with me. Let's do a fluency drill. I'll give you a word, and you'll create a sentence about food using it. Ready? Word 1, brunch. Word 2, recipe. Word 3, grocery shopping. Excellent. These exercises build speed and confidence, shopping and service interactions. Let's transition to conversations about shopping, another common situation. At B1 and B2 levels, you should be able to ask for specific items, compare products, and express preferences. Imagine you're in a department store and a sales associate asks, "May I help you find something today?" Instead of "Yes, a shirt," try "Yes, I'm looking for a stylish, lightweight linen shirt for the summer. Something in a pale blue or beige size medium would be perfect. Do you have anything similar? Repeat after me. Now let's try a different example. I'm looking for a pair of hiking boots, something durable and waterproof for my upcoming trip to the mountains. Do you have any recommendations? Great! Now, let's role play. The sales associate, whose name is Jessica, asks, "What are you looking for today?" Use one of the phrases we've practiced, or create your own detailed response. Excellent. Let's do it again. What are you looking for today? Perfect. At the intermediate level, comparing items is crucial. Instead of "This is cheaper," say "This pair of shoes is significantly cheaper than that one." but I'm wondering if the quality difference justifies the price increase. Practice these comparisons. This level of detail will make your conversations flow much more smoothly. Remember, practice makes perfect. One pair of shoes is cheaper, but the other pair seems to be of superior quality. This presents a classic decision-making scenario in everyday life, requiring us to weigh cost against quality. Practical phrases, checkout, and bags. Now, let's practice some practical English phrases. Imagine you're at the checkout, and the cashier, a friendly young man named David, asks, "Do you need a bag?" You could politely reply, "Yes, please. I'd like a bag," emphasizing the please for added politeness. Alternatively, you could say, "No, thank you. I brought my own bag," showcasing environmental awareness and resourcefulness. Let's practice both responses. "Yes, please. I'd like a bag." Again, "Yes, please. I'd like a bag." Now, let's try the other one. "No, thank you. I brought my own bag." And again, "No, thank you. I brought my own bag." These simple exchanges build your confidence in handling everyday shopping, interactions, and expressing your needs clearly. Transportation, buses, taxis, and directions. Moving on to transportation. Let's explore conversations relevant to navigating public transit and taxis. Imagine you're at a bus stop and a fellow passenger, Michael, asks, "Do you know when the next bus is arriving?" A simple answer would be in about 10 minutes. However, a more fluent and nuanced response might be, "I think the next bus should arrive in about 10 minutes, but sometimes it runs a little late, especially during rush hour." Notice the added detail and contextual information. Let's repeat this together. ... Excellent. One more time. Now, picture yourself in a taxi. The driver asks, "Where to?" Instead of simply saying, try providing more specific directions. For instance, you could say, "I'd like to go downtown near Main Street, close to the library, please." The added detail helps the driver understand your destination more precisely. Let's practice. "I'd like to go downtown near Main Street, close to the library." Again, "I'd like to go downtown near Main Street, close to the library, please." Now, let's role play. I'll be the taxi driver. "Where would you like to go?" Pause for student response. Excellent. Let's do it one more time. "Where would you like to go?" Pause for a student response. Wonderful. Giving and receiving directions are essential aspects of everyday life. For example, you could say, "Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn right at the traffic light. The bank will be on your left." Alternatively, you could say, "Walk down the street until you reach the park, and then you'll see the bus station right next to it." Let's practice these directional phrases. Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn right at the traffic light. The bank will be on your left. Again, now the other one. Walk down this street until you reach the park, and then you'll see the bus station right next to it. And one more time, ... Mastering these practical phrases significantly enhances your conversational English and makes you more confident in everyday situations. Remember, clear communication is key to navigating daily life smoothly. Mastering phone calls? Okay, let's enhance our English conversation skills. We'll focus on practical scenarios, building your confidence in everyday interactions. Phone calls, doctor's appointments, and workplace communication are key areas we'll cover. Part 1. Mastering phone calls. First, let's tackle phone conversations. These can be tricky because you rely solely on audio cues. At an intermediate level, you need smooth greetings, clear requests, and polished politeness. Let's role play. You're calling your friend Sarah. A natural opening might be, "Hi Sarah, it's Emily. How's your day going?" Notice the friendly tone. Let's practice that again. Excellent. Now imagine calling the Brighter Company. The receptionist answers, "Good morning, Brighter Company. How can I help you?" A professional response would be, "Good morning. My name is Emily, and I'd like to speak with Mr. Jones. Please, let's try it together. ... Perfect. What if Mr. Jones isn't available? The receptionist might say, "I'm sorry, he's in a meeting. May I take a message?" Your reply should be concise and helpful. Navigating the doctor's office. Part 2. Navigating the doctor's office. This involves describing your symptoms clearly and concisely. Suppose you're seeing Dr. Lee and Nurse Jessica asks, "What seems to be the problem today?" Instead of a simple headache, try a more detailed response. "I've had a throbbing headache since yesterday morning, and it's gotten worse despite taking ibuprofen." Let's rehearse that ... Adding details like throbbing and specifying the pain reliever helps the doctor understand your condition better. Another example, "I've been coughing incessantly for 3 days, and I feel incredibly fatigued. I also have a slight fever." Practice this one. The use of words like incessantly and incredibly adds emphasis and precision. If Dr. Lee asks, "How long have you been experiencing these symptoms?" your answer could be, "I've been feeling this way for about 3 days, and the symptoms seem to worsen at night." Let's practice that ... Scheduling an appointment. If the receptionist says, "When would you like to come in?" you could respond with, "I'd prefer an appointment sometime next week, ideally Tuesday afternoon if that's available, or I'd like to schedule an appointment for Friday morning if possible." Practice both options to build fluency. Workplace communication. Part 3. Workplace conversations. Finally, let's work on workplace interactions. At an intermediate level, you should be able to discuss your tasks, explain your progress, and ask for help professionally. Imagine your colleague Mark asks, "How's the marketing proposal coming along?" Instead of a simple "fine," aim for a more detailed response. "It's progressing well, Mark. I've completed the initial research and drafted the executive summary. I am currently working on the budget section and expect to finish the first draft by the end of the day." Let's practice. If your manager David asks, "Can you submit the report by noon?" respond professionally. "Yes, David, I can submit the report by noon. I'm just finalizing the data analysis now. Let's practice." Need to ask for help. Instead of a vague request, be specific. "Could you assist me with the data interpretation on the Peterson account? I'm struggling to understand the statistical analysis." Practice, remember, clear and detailed communication is crucial in all these scenarios. Let's continue building your confidence in these key areas. Workplace English, politeness, and collaboration. Let's enhance your English communication skills. Focusing on workplace, social, and travel contexts. We'll build confidence by practicing essential phrases and role-playing realistic scenarios. First, let's tackle workplace English. Remember, politeness is key. Using phrases like, "Could you," "I caught," or "Would you mind" conveys professionalism and respect. For example, instead of saying, "Check my email," try Sarah, "Would you mind taking a quick look at this email before I send it? I want to make sure everything looks okay." Notice the difference. It's much more courteous and collaborative. Let's practice this with a few more examples. Imagine you need to ask your colleague Mark for help with a spreadsheet. Instead of "help me," you could say, "Mark, could you possibly assist me with this spreadsheet? I'm having a little trouble with the formatting." Or if you need to reschedule a meeting with your boss, Mr. Jones, you might say, "Mr. Jones, would it be possible to reschedule our meeting for tomorrow afternoon?" I have an unexpected conflict this morning. See how these polite requests create a positive work environment, social, English, invitations, and plans. Now, let's move to lunch conversations. If Michael invites you to lunch, you could respond enthusiastically. Sure, Michael, I'd love to. Where are we headed? Or more casually, thanks, Michael, but I packed my lunch today. I'll catch you later. Practice these responses. The key is to sound natural and friendly. Think of the tone of your voice as part of the practice, too. Workplace communication is not just about tasks. It's also about building relationships. Next, let's explore social English. At the B1 and B2 level, you should be able to smoothly invite, accept, and politely decline invitations. If Emily invites you to the movies, a natural response might be, "That sounds fantastic. Emily, what time were you thinking?" Or, if you can't make it, a polite refusal could be, "Oh, I'd love to, Emily, but I already have plans that evening. Perhaps another time." Let's try some different scenarios. Imagine your friend David asks you to go to a concert. You could say, "That sounds awesome, David. What time and where does it start?" Or, "Thanks for inviting me, David, but I won't be able to make it. How about we catch up for coffee next week instead?" The goal here is not only to learn phrases, but to understand how to express yourself clearly and confidently in different social contexts. Let's practice planning social events. 2. If your friend Lisa asks, "What are you up to this weekend?" You could say, "I'm thinking of going to the park on Saturday. Fancy joining me for a walk and coffee afterwards?" Or perhaps, "I'd love to check out that new Italian restaurant downtown. Are you free on Sunday evening?" These simple phrases allow for natural and engaging conversation. Travel English, airports, and hotels. Finally, let's prepare for travel situations. At the airport, if a staff member, let's call her Jessica, asks for your documents, you would simply and politely respond, "Certainly, here's my passport and boarding pass." If you need assistance, use polite requests. For example, "Excuse me, could you direct me to gate 45? Or, "Excuse me, could you tell me where I can find the restroom?" Similarly, at a hotel with a receptionist, Mark, the check-in conversation might flow like this. "Mark, welcome. Do you have a reservation?" You? "Yes, I have a reservation under the name John Smith for 2 nights. If you need more towels, you can politely request, 'Excuse me, could I please have some extra towels sent to my room?' Or, 'The air conditioning is not working correctly. Could someone please come and take a look?'" Fluency drill, combining scenarios. To wrap up, let's conduct a fluency drill combining workplace, social, and travel scenarios. Prompt 1. Workplace. You need to ask your colleague Anna for feedback on a report. Prompt 2. Social. You're planning a weekend getaway with a friend, Ben. Prompt 3. Travel. You need to ask for directions at an unfamiliar train station. These quick drills will help you connect these topics smoothly and naturally in everyday conversations. Now, let's practice ordering food at a restaurant. Instead of just saying pizza, try yes. "I'd like a large pepperoni pizza, please. And a Coke, please." Remember, adding small details like specifying the pizza size or drink adds to the fluency and confidence. Fluent English isn't just about the words. It's about the flow, the confidence, and the polite interaction. Let's practice a complete restaurant experience. Okay, class, let's continue practicing our English for everyday situations. We've covered greetings and ordering food, but now let's delve a bit deeper into restaurant scenarios and then move on to emergency situations. Remember our ordering practice. Let's review and expand on that. I'd like a medium pepperoni pizza, please. But let's add some flair. You could say, "Excuse me, I'd like to order a medium pepperoni pizza, please. And could I also get a large iced tea with lemon if you have it?" Notice how adding a small detail like the lemon makes the request more personal and shows you repaying attention to the finer points of service. Now, let's say you're unsure of your order. Instead of just saying, "I'm still deciding, Jessica," which is fine, try something like, "Excuse me, Jessica. I'm still looking over the menu. Could you tell me a little more about today's special? What kind of protein is it? And what are the side dishes?" This shows engagement and allows you to make a more informed decision. Let's practice this with a partner. One of you will be the server, the other the customer. Remember to use clear and polite language. Let's role-play a complete dining experience. I'll be the waiter. David, can I get you something to drink while you look at the menu? Sarah. Your partner, Sarah, should respond with a drink order. Excellent. Now, after your meal, I'll ask, "Would you like dessert, Sarah?" Remember, you can respond with, "Yes, could I see the dessert menu, please?" Or, "No, thank you, David. The meal was delicious, but I am quite full. Thank you for your excellent service." Practice this dialogue with your partner several times, focusing on clear pronunciation and natural intonation. Try varying your responses. Perhaps you'd like to order coffee instead of dessert. The key is to sound confident and polite. Finally, when you're ready for the check, instead of simply saying, "Could we have the check, please?" you could also add, "And could you please separate the check?" If you're dining with a friend, practice asking for the check in different ways. You could say, "Excuse me, could we get the bill, please?" The important thing is to be polite and clear. English for emergency situations. Now, let's shift our focus to emergency situations. While we hope to never need to use these phrases, knowing them could prove invaluable. Imagine you're with your friend Michael, and he suddenly feels faint. Instead of just saying, "Excuse me, could you please call an ambulance? My friend isn't feeling well," try adding more details. "Excuse me, sir, madam, could you please call an ambulance? My friend Michael has just fainted. He's pale and seems to be having difficulty breathing." We're at location. Providing more information helps emergency services respond more effectively. Practice this scenario with your partner, adding variations like describing other symptoms. Another example, if you lose your wallet, instead of just saying, "I think I lost my wallet," it's black and has my ID and credit card inside. "Could you help me check if anyone found it?" Try this. "Excuse me, I believe I've lost my wallet. It's a black leather wallet, and it contains my driver's license, credit cards, and some cash. Could you please check if anyone has turned one in? I'd be incredibly grateful." Remember, clear descriptions and polite language are key. Finally, if you need to call the police, instead of simply saying, "Hello, I need help. Someone broke into my car and I'd like to report it," you might say, "Hello, police. I'm calling to report a break-in. My car was broken into at location at approximately time. Describe what was stolen." "I would like to file a police report." Remember, practicing these phrases will not only help you in real-life situations, but also increase your confidence when speaking English. Even though emergencies are stressful, being prepared can make a significant difference. Now, let's practice some more scenarios. The art of storytelling. Okay, let's dive into storytelling, a fantastic way to boost your fluency. At the B1 and B2 levels, you should be able to craft short narratives about your experiences, complete with a compelling beginning, a detailed middle, and a satisfying conclusion. Let's start with a simple example. Last weekend, I went to a thrilling baseball game with my friend Mark. The sun blazed, painting the stadium in golden light. The air crackled with excitement. The stadium was packed, a sea of cheering fans waving pennants and holding up signs. We were right behind home plate, the energy palpable. We roared our support for the home team, the City Sluggers, and the game was a nail-biter. It went down to the wire. A tense bottom of the ninth inning. Finally, with 2 outs and bases loaded, our cleanup hitter smashed a grand slam. The stadium erupted. What an incredible day! The feeling of exhilaration stayed with me for days. Now, let's try another story. A few months ago, I embarked on a challenging hike in the breathtaking Appalachian Mountains with my friend Sarah. We started early, the morning air crisp and cool. The trail wound through a lush forest, sunlight dappling through the leaves. We passed babbling brooks, their waters sparkling in the sunlight, and marveled at the ancient trees. About halfway up, a sudden downpour caught us off guard. We were soaked to the bone, but instead of getting discouraged, we laughed, huddled together, and pressed on. Reaching the summit was unbelievably rewarding. The panoramic view was simply stunning, a vast expanse of rolling hills and valleys stretching to the horizon. It was a moment of pure, breathtaking beauty, making the challenging climb absolutely worthwhile. The shared experience strengthened our bond and created a memory that we will cherish forever. Storytelling is key. It helps you seamlessly incorporate past tense verbs, weave in vivid details, and captivate your audience. Now it's your turn. Think of a simple story from your life. A trip, a fun day with friends, or a surprising event. Try to tell it aloud in 3 to 4 sentences. Begin by setting the scene. When and where did it happen? Then describe the events and finally share your feelings about the experience. Storytelling in a role-play context. Great job! Let's practice storytelling in a role-play scenario. Imagine Monday morning your coworker David asks, "How was your weekend?" Instead of a simple "good," tell a short story. For example, "It was fantastic, David. Saturday was all about relaxation. I spent the day reading a captivating novel by the lake. Sunday, however, was an adventure. I went kayaking with my family and saw an amazing eagle soaring overhead. It was a perfectly balanced weekend. Repeat after me, ... See, this expands your responses beyond one-word answers, a crucial step to sounding fluent. Now let's combine storytelling with expressing opinions. Imagine you're describing a new restaurant. You could say, "Last Friday, I dined at a fantastic new Italian restaurant with my friend Sarah. The food was absolutely divine. The pasta, in particular, was to die for. I honestly believe it's one of the best Italian restaurants in town, and I'm already planning my next visit. Repeat after me, ... This blends storytelling and opinions, a vital skill at the intermediate level. Storytelling fluency drill. Let's do a storytelling fluency drill. I'll give you a word, and you'll create a short story using it. Ready? Word 1. Concert. Example. Last summer I attended a spectacular outdoor concert. The music was electrifying, and the atmosphere was electric. We danced under the stars, singing along to every song. It was an unforgettable evening. Word 2. Trip. Example, my family and I recently took a memorable trip to the Grand Canyon. The vastness of the canyon was breathtaking. The colors of the rock formations were amazing. We hiked a portion of the South Rim Trail and took stunning photographs. It was a trip we'll never forget. Word 3. Birthday example. My sister's recent birthday was a joyous celebration. We threw a surprise party, complete with decorations, delicious cake, and heartfelt gifts. Seeing her joyful reaction made all the effort worthwhile. It was a perfect birthday. These drills help you naturally connect events and practice past tense verbs in context. School and study conversations. Finally, let's focus on school and study conversations. These are invaluable even if you aren't a student, as they help you describe routines, subjects, and goals. Imagine you're at college. Your classmate Sarah asks, "What classes are you taking this semester?" Instead of a simple English and history, you can say, "I'm taking English, history, and a challenging biology course. English is my favorite. I love delving into literature and improving my writing skills. History is fascinating, exploring the intricacies of past civilizations. And biology, despite its complexity, is intriguing because of the insights into human physiology. Repeat after me, ... This shows a more advanced level of English proficiency, expanding on homework and studies. Okay, let's enhance this English language learning passage. We focus on expanding the examples and adding more detail to make the practice more engaging and effective. This section focuses on improving conversational English skills through various scenarios. We started by discussing school subjects and homework. You mentioned finding math challenging but enjoying economics. Let's build on that. Imagine you're talking to your teacher, Mr. Johnson. He asks, "How's your homework coming along, Sarah?" You could reply, "It's going pretty well, Mr. Johnson, but I'm still working on the essay for history. The research is taking longer than I anticipated, especially finding reliable sources for the American Revolution section. I'm aiming to finish it by tomorrow evening. My math homework, however, is mostly done. I just need to double-check a couple of those calculus problems before class." Notice how adding details makes your response sound more natural and fluent. You've not only reported progress, but also explained challenges and expressed a time frame for completion. Discussing movies and books. Now, let's shift to casual conversations. We'll practice talking about movies and books. Your friend Michael asks, "Seen any good movies lately?" Instead of a simple yes, try this. "Hey, Michael, yeah, I saw The Family Trip, a comedy that came out last weekend. It was hilarious. Amanda's character, the quirky aunt, was absolutely brilliant. She stole every scene she was in. I highly recommend it if you need a good laugh." See how we VA incorporated descriptive adjectives, hilarious, brilliant, and a specific detail, the quirky aunt, to make the recommendation more engaging. Let's try another movie example. Suppose you watched an action movie with your friend Jessica. Instead of just saying it was exciting, expand your response. You could say, "I went to see Renegade with Jessica last Friday. The action sequences were incredible. Truly edge of your seat stuff. But yeah, the ending felt a bit predictable. I guessed the main villain's identity halfway through." It still made for a fun night out, though. Notice the specific movie title and the added detail of how predictable the ending was. Discussing books offers a similar opportunity for detailed responses. If someone asks if you enjoy reading, don't just say yes. Try, "Absolutely. I love novels, especially mysteries and thrillers. I just finished The Shadow Syndicate by Daniel Brown. I couldn't put it down. The plot twists were so unexpected and kept me guessing until the very end. The characters were really well developed too, especially the protagonist, who's a bit of a morally gray character. It was a fantastic read." Here we've mentioned the genre, book title, and author, providing specific details that make the response more engaging. Longer storytelling, a road trip. Next, we'll practice longer storytelling. Remember to incorporate time expressions, descriptions, and feelings. Consider this example. Last summer, my family and I went on a road trip across California. We started in Los Angeles, exploring Hollywood, taking pictures with the Walk of Fame stars, and visiting the Griffith Observatory. It was incredibly busy, but the views were breathtaking. Next, we drove up the Pacific Coast Highway to San Francisco, stopping at many scenic overlooks along the way. We crossed the Golden Gate Bridge, an unforgettable experience. The San Francisco fog was really interesting. It was much cooler there, and we spent a relaxing day wandering along Fisherman's Wharf and enjoying the sea lions. We even took a ferry to Alcatraz Island. By the end of the trip, I was exhausted, but had created memories I will treasure forever. Storytelling, a birthday celebration. Finally, let's try a shorter story about a celebration. Let's say it was a friend's birthday. 2 weeks ago, I went to Emily's 25th birthday party. It was at her apartment, decorated with colorful fairy lights and streamers. There was a great playlist, some good music. Everyone was dancing and laughing. The highlight was when her boyfriend surprised her with a beautiful handmade quilt, and all of us sang happy birthday. Emily was so touched. It was a really joyful celebration, filled with lots of love and laughter. This expands upon the original by detailing the decorations, the music, the gift, and Emily's emotional reaction, making it a richer story. Now, it's your turn. Think of a celebration you've been to and describe it with details, aiming for 3 to 4 sentences. Remember to include time expressions, descriptions, and how you felt. Role play, describing your weekend. Let's now add a role play element. Imagine your coworker Daniel asks, "Did you do anything interesting last weekend?" Instead of a simple no, you can say, "Yes, Daniel, I went hiking in the mountains with my cousin Emily. The trail was challenging, but the views from the summit were absolutely stunning. We packed a picnic lunch and spent hours just enjoying the fresh air and beautiful scenery. It was a wonderful, relaxing escape from the city." Notice how we've added details that vividly paint a picture of your weekend. Practice this in other scenarios, adding descriptions, details, and emotional responses. This focused practice will improve your conversational fluency and enhance your English speaking skills dramatically. Giving advice. Okay, let's look at how we can improve this paragraph. The original focuses on repetition for language learning, but we can make it more engaging and descriptive while retaining the core message. We'll replace Daniel with Liam for consistency. Here's a revised version that expands on the original, incorporating more vivid details and a teaching style. Let's practice describing a fun outing. The original sentence is, "I went to the park with my cousin Emily. We had a picnic by the lake, and then we rented bikes and rode around the park. It was relaxing and fun at the same time." Now, let's add some descriptive details to make it more interesting. Imagine this. I went to the park with my cousin Emily. The sun was shining, a perfect summer day, with fluffy white clouds drifting lazily across the sky. We spread out our picnic blanket by the crystal-clear lake, the water sparkling like 1,000 tiny diamonds. The air was filled with a sweet scent of wildflowers and the gentle chirping of birds. For our picnic, we had juicy sandwiches, crisp apples, and refreshing lemonade. After lunch, we strolled to the bike rental shop, a quaint little building nestled among the trees. We chose 2 bright blue bikes, hopped on, and started our adventure. The park paths wound through lush greenery, dappling the sunlight and creating a cool, shady canopy. As we rode past vibrant flower beds bursting with color, crimson roses, sunny yellow daffodils, and deep purple violets. We even saw a family of playful squirrels chasing each other up a towering oak tree. The gentle breeze rustled the leaves, creating a soothing, whispering sound. The whole experience was incredibly relaxing, a perfect balance of peaceful nature and invigorating exercise. It was genuinely fun and relaxing, the perfect way to spend a summer afternoon. Now let's repeat the enhanced version, focusing on the descriptive elements. Liam, can you repeat after me? I went to the park with my cousin Emily on a sunny summer day. We enjoyed a relaxing picnic by the lake, surrounded by beautiful flowers and the sounds of nature. Then we rented bright blue bikes and cycled through shady paths, enjoying the fresh air and picturesque scenery. It was a fun and relaxing experience. Excellent, Liam. See how adding descriptive words and phrases significantly enhances the storytelling and makes the experience more vivid. This revised version maintains the core meaning, but it is significantly longer, approximately double the original, richer in detail, and uses a more engaging teaching style with repetition and a clear explanation of the improvement process.